Let's settle down, class. It's time for a lesson.
Good morning, class. Today, instead of doing what we normally do at GBL analysis, we're gonna instead take a step backwards and look at what you can do as a battler to improve your skill so you can achieve your goals that you want to do inside the GBL season. Grab a seat, get ready for notes because it's time for a lesson. Just a quick reminder, if you want a better grade in class, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you ring that bell so you're the first to know when there are new lessons. If you want to see how I battle live in GBL, check me out at twitch.tv/SuperScienceSensei. I battle every day from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. PST. I hope to see you guys there. Also, today, a lot of the things I'm going to be referring to, PV Poke and also Go Battle Log. I have a referral code for Go Battle Log link down below. If you can click on that, that'd really help us support out. Okay, the first step of getting better as a battler, I'd say this is a prerequisite and required for basic Pokemon battles, is understanding and learning the Pokemon Go typing chart. Okay, now you don't have to memorize any charts, and if you guys want to see them, you guys can just go on Google as I've shown you here. Just type in something like Pokemon Go typing chart, and you'll see a bunch of these different graphs. The personal one that I like the most right here is from PokeAssistant.com, where they tell you all the different typings and they kind of show you, oh, fighting does 1.6 damage to normal, but fighting only does 0.625 damage to flying. I like this chart a lot. It's not that difficult to read, and most importantly, by understanding and learning typings, what will happen for you as a battler is that you will adjust yourself to unknown situations a lot quicker, and it just helps you out a lot more. I would say that knowing the typing for Pokemon is kind of like having a weird little rock, paper, scissors in your head kind of memorized. If you make a storyline with things, it kind of becomes easier for you to remember. For example, fairies taking more damage right here from poison, because fairies can get poisoned. They get hit by steel because, like, in lore, metals can kill fairies, and they take less damage from dragons because fairies beat dragons. And you just kind of remember your own little headcanon, and it'll help you figure out what's going on. Okay, that I feel was pretty basic. Let's go on to the second step. Inside step number 2, I would suggest you build at least 1 to 3 consistent teams for each league that you decide to play. So if you want to play Great League, make at least 3 to 9 mons built that are very strong, consistent, and hopefully you have a reference point to either use, or you have someone that has experience using team and you can get better off that. Good resources for this would be obviously PV Poke, where if you guys hover over here, you guys see how there is a top performers. You guys can actually look at the top performing mons when you click on that tab, and it even shows you an example of like the top performing teams from PV Poke. PV Poke has a great tool like that. You guys can also go to Go Battle Log, where you can see what the most common leads are, what second and third mons come with it, and then there you can even look at the mons and see which teams work well by you. And obviously, if you have the advanced options, you guys can find out different teams too, right? And they help make a lot of teams for you, and they're really good for you to pick off of. Another really great resource, which you probably use already if you're watching this video, is going to be YouTube. There's a lot of great battlers out there, right? FP Sticks, Psionic, Wallower, Blade Bananas. There's a whole slew of names out there that have great videos, great content that you guys can watch. And obviously, you guys can check out Twitch, where there's a bunch of Pogo battlers you guys can see that have teams as well. When you guys use these different resources, you guys can look at teams that seem to be consistent. You can see how they're played, and you can try to learn them as best as you can yourself. Once you learn a team, it helps you be comfortable with playing, and that way you can learn from your mistakes and try to do better for the next one. Step number 3. Learn a general idea of fast moves and charge moves, like learning turns and damage. A really good place for you to look at the base line is once again at good old PV Poke, right? If you notice right here, it shows you all the fast moves. It tells you the damage, the energy, and how many turns it takes. It also tells you the damage per turn and the energy per turn. You can look at it for fast or charge moves, and you can always organize it by like typing, damage, energy, whatever you need it to be. Understanding how to deal with timing and fast moves and charge moves is going to be step number 4. For step number 4, I suggest you guys learn how to deal with the mechanics. Now, the mechanics is a very, very difficult thing to understand everything, but there are some basics that you guys have to understand. Understanding the timing of when to throw a fast move, when to throw a charge move, and understanding when you should shield, understanding how to deny fast moves under the current state of the game, understanding how CMP works, and understanding the strength of one-turn moves. These are all mechanics that you should learn to practice. There are great resources on YouTube that show you how to do this. I know FP Sticks has a whole series. Wallower has a whole series where he goes over advanced mechanics. In general, though, when it comes to fast move timing, right? Certain fast moves, like all the fast moves, whether it's a mud shot from a Excadrill that is level 50 or a mud shot from a Whiscash for Great League, no matter what mud shot it is, it gives you the same amount of energy, takes the same amount of turns, and does the same amount of base damage. Now, the reason why this is important is because if you know one move takes like 5 counters to get to a specific charge move, then if another mon is using similar energy moves, you'll know that it takes 5 counters to get to that move. Counting moves isn't required, but it really can help improve your game and understand when you can do things like sack swaps where you switch in and absorb damage, or when you know that you can farm an opponent down without wasting up your energy because you'll defeat their mon before they get enough energy to throw a move. Understanding the mechanics and timing for this stuff is going to be basic. Fast move, turn, and stuff like that is going to be really important. Understanding how much energy is generated and how much things are cost. So for example, you know that counter gives 7 energy per turn. So let's say if you're going up against a Metacham that has possibly a power up punch, which costs 35 energy, or Psychic, which costs 55 energy. If the opposing Metacham does only, let's say, 8 counters, 8 times 7 is going to be 56. And so that means at 8 counters, there is a chance that it can use Psychic. If it does any less than 8, though, that means you shouldn't shield because it's probably going to be a power punch, unless, the specifics go otherwise. That's the reason why counting is really useful. When it comes to timing and sack swaps, knowing energy counts is really important. As far as denying fast moves or using fast moves in the smartest way possible, if you're going up against a Charmer with like a Talonflame, because Incinerate takes 5 turns while Charm takes 3 turns, you want to make sure that if you're going to throw a move, usually you throw 1 Incinerate and then the move, because that takes up approximately 6 turns, 5 for the Incinerate, 1 for the action of charge move itself, and that will be equivalent to the 2 charms. If your opponent keeps sneaking charms on you, a lot of times it's because you're messing up your timing. Like let's say if you do 2 Incinerates and throw it instead, they'll have 4 charms because they have 9 for the first 3, and the 4th one will take 1 more turn, so then it goes to 12, and therefore they get 2 extra free turns on you. It's really well explained inside a lot of different other YouTuber videos where they go over all the specifics. I will say though, understanding how to time your moves is going to be very important. Understanding the mechanics of charge moves, fast moves, the counts, and denying all those things are going to be very, very important. Last thing, I also said CMP. Whatever has more attack goes first. And if you guys have the exact same attack, it's a coin flip. So sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. But understanding all the mechanics are going to be very, very important. Step number 5, in my opinion, for you guys to get better would be using different tools to help yourself team build. I've made some videos on team building on my YouTube videos. I know other people have made YouTube videos on team building as well. I would suggest whenever you're making teams, PV Poke is a great place to start because it can show you different typings and different things. Go Battle Log is also super amazing at showing you what mons are currently being used, giving you suggestions of how it works, and for you to try to figure out how you want to do certain things. But team building is very, very, very important to understand, and understand the basics of what an ABA team is, an ABB team is, and an ABC team is also very important. I also have a video linked down below of explaining the team building factor. But most importantly, if you don't understand like the strategies to win and you don't understand why you're losing, team building will really help you out on that, and it'll help you improve your game. The sixth step that you want to look at is reading the meta. When I say reading the meta, I mean you want to understand what teams you might be going up against, and therefore you build your team accordingly. A good place for you to develop the meta and understand what might be going on is once again PvPoke. The reason why is because PvPoke tells you the rankings of different mons. Other people have this available to them as well, and people are going to be inclined to try to use what they think works best. Other places to find a really good place on reading the meta would be, once again, Go Battlelog. Go Battlelog tells you, even within your specific MMR bracket, if you guys choose your MMR bracket, what leads are most commonly seen, what things in the back are commonly seen with those leads, and you can then adjust your team accordingly. Another really great place for you to find teams live on the fly is obviously Twitch, because at Twitch there's lots of battlers at lots of different ranges doing lots of different battles at the time live, and you can see what they're going up against, what they're using, and you can make a meta call yourself right there. A final place that has a real huge impact is going to be YouTube, because a lot of people record teams, they publish it. Once they publish it, people watch it. When people watch it, people start trying to use it because it looks fun. There are a lot of content creators out there that will affect and shape the meta just by releasing a video, so make sure you guys try to keep in touch in what teams are being used, and the more knowledge you have and understanding what mons are going to be there, it will help you figure out what you need to do to win. One important condition on winning a lot of the time is predicting what mon they might have in the back. If you guys ever watch people play GBL and they predict what might be in the back, myself included, you'll notice that a lot of times a lot of the streamers out there can kind of guess what mons they might have in the back even though they haven't seen it yet, just because of the meta that they expect, what their team seems to be running for, and what would be detrimental that could help them in the back. So definitely check out those different resources, know how to use it to your advantage, and try your best to win. The seventh thing you should do is understanding win conditions. The earlier you can recognize your win condition, the better things will be. A lot of times when you guys go into a match, the moment you enter, sometimes you have a bad lead, sometimes you have a bad swap, and it comes down to you to figure out what you need to do to win. There are games where there's no chance for you to win whatsoever, and there's obviously games where if they make no mistakes, then there's no way for you to win. But a lot of times people can make mistakes, and sometimes you can outplay opponents even though by all rights and means they should win. The way that you can win is by understanding what you need to do to win early on. Is it going to be energy management and getting off a move at the end when they're down shields that's going to win you the game? Do you need to save the energy on your Talonflame so you can Brave Bird something that's going to be critically weak to Brave Bird? Or do you waste it on an Azumarill where you don't fully kill it and you need to use another move from another mon anyway? Understanding what your win condition is going to be really, really important. Energy management is going to be a really big win condition a lot of the times, but not always. Catching moves is also going to be a really good win condition, but not always. Saving a shield for a specific mon and therefore allowing yourself to get hit by the big move that you know you want to shield but you're not going to shield is also a win condition. Baiting inside specific situations is going to be a win condition. Making sure you farm the opponent down instead of throwing energy because you don't want them to gain energy as you throw moves. That's also another win condition. There's a lot of different things you can do to change the output of the game, and if you don't try to make use of everything and you don't see what your win condition is early, odds are you're probably going to lose. The eighth thing you can do, understanding how to self-reflect. And if you don't know how to reflect well on yourself, is to ask people to help you out, or maybe even hiring a coach. The reason why I point this out is if you ask a person, what do you think your biggest faults are? People are going to try to struggle to find out what their biggest faults are. But if you ask their friends and family what their biggest faults are, they will spend an hour or 7 explaining how many faults that they have. It's because the people around you can kind of see your mistakes a little better than you see your own mistakes, because they're not directly attached to it, right? It's kind of like if you guys have ever written up a paper for school or something like that. You write up the paper, you look at it, and you think like there's no errors. But if you take a moment away and come back, it's much easier for you to find any spelling errors, grammatical errors, etc. It's the same thing for playing GBL, or any game for that matter. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's very hard for you to recognize what your mistakes were. That's why it's good to have someone else from an outside point of view look at your match and understand, oh, maybe you messed up on energy management. Maybe there was nothing you actually could do to win the game. Maybe there was a bad swap you made. Understanding what you can do to get better, being able to take the responsibility for your losses and pushing forward is going to help you get better as a battler. Now, the ninth and final thing I think is going to be really important for you to improve as a battler is going to be mindset. And I say mindset because mindset is very, very important for anything we do, especially for a game where you try to be slightly competitive in. When I say mindset, I mean like understanding that sometimes you do get unlucky and there's nothing you can do. That will happen, but you can't let it tilt you, and you can't get mad off of things like that because it'll make you play poorly. Sometimes you get unlucky, you lag, that will happen too. But making sure you keep a positive mindset is going to be very lucrative inside how you push forward and try to attain your goals. Another thing about mindset is you can't blame the game for all the mistakes and bad things that happen. There are a lot of mistakes inside there that are completely uncontrollable, but there are a lot of games out there and a lot of situations where you can win if you just move and change things just a little bit different. And one other thing I feel is that a lot of players put a lot of stress upon themselves to try to do really well, and that's going to be very detrimental to their game. Try to have fun, because if you are stressing yourself out way too much and are not having fun playing the game, there's no point for you to play the game, right? Because like it's just stressing you out. You have to find some fun and some humor in playing the game, and you gotta try if you enjoy it and you just have fun with it, you naturally are gonna play better. If you take responsibility for your mistakes, you understand that you can get better because you know no one's perfect, and you just keep trying to improve, you're gonna have a fun time playing GBL, and you're gonna understand what you did wrong, and you're probably gonna reach your goals. I will say this, like for me, after I hit Legend, my goals are trying to have a solid, good queue time while still having good battles, because I want to make sure I still go up against really good players, but I don't want to spend all my time waiting in queue. So after I hit Legend, I just kind of mess around. Even with that said though, even when I'm messing around, because I'm playing more comfortable, I've noticed that while playing more comfortable, I'm able to hit like Legend MMR like multiple times within the season just by, for lack of a better word, trolling, right? It comes down to comfortability, and like the less stress you put on yourself, the better you can play. With that said, those are the 9 things I think you can do to get better. Let's go over it real quick. 1, make sure you understand typing. That's the baseline. If you don't understand Pokemon Go typing, then people really can't help you. 2, make sure you guys have a basic consistent team that either is recommended to you from someone else, because if it's a strong consistent team, you can learn to get better with it. You know that it can work, and you know that you have a solid baseline to begin from. 3, you want to make sure you understand fast moves and charge moves, because learning fast moves and charge moves, how to count and how to deal with energy, is going to be very helpful, though not required, to your progression as a battler. 4, understanding mechanics, timing, sack swaps, denials, CMPs, one-turn fast moves, all these different things. Understanding all the mechanics of the games is not that difficult once you learn it all, but it does take a little bit of time to make sure you know everything beforehand. Once you understand it all, practice makes perfect, so try your best. 5, team building using different tools. There are a lot of tools out there. We have IV checkers to help you figure out what mons are good. We have resources out there like PvPoke and Go Battlelog that help you figure out what teams you can make. You have YouTube with lots of great YouTubers out there with great videos, and Twitch channels with people out there that are willing to help you learn, right? Use the resources around you and understand how to deal with the team building. This applies to step number 6, reading the meta. Use all those tools to figure out what mons you might run into and what mons you might be able to use to counter said meta. Step 7. Understand the win conditions. This takes a bit of practice. This is one of the hardest things to fully master. But understanding your win conditions and understanding them early is what's going to really help you win and do better as a battler. Step number 8, make sure you guys know how to reflect. Whether it's self-reflection or asking the people around you to help you reflect, that's going to help you improve as a battler as well. And finally, make sure you have a great mindset. Make sure to have fun. Make sure not to take things too hard. Make sure you're not stressing out. And make sure that you're open to improvement. If we do all these things, we're going to get better as battlers, as a community, and we'll do better next season. One thing I hope you guys notice is that like every season that's gone by, the battlers have been getting better. Every single season, people have been getting better. So if you want to stay good, or you want to get good, and you want to achieve your goals, these are the 9 things I hope you guys are able to look at, implement, and do. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope to see y'all next time. Class is dismissed.